Hello, dear friends. I'm glad to greet you on board Trans4 spaceship. Let me introduce myself. My name is Forsey. I will be your guide in the endless space of knowledge. Now I will give you a very interesting lesson in geography. Geography is a Greek word meaning... Hello, Forsey is here. I understand. All right, the lessons will be postponed.
Hello, everybody. I am Professor Atlasman, a member of the Russian Academy of Science. Dear friends, I suggest that we postpone the lesson for now and set off for a real research expedition instead. I trust no one has any objections?
Of course there are no objections. We were just going to explore the whole Earth. And what one has to do in the expedition?
During the expedition, you will have the opportunity to explore our planet, carry out scientific experiments, and perform the tasks of our researchers. So, to start, you will be enrolled in the Research Patrol, and then you will be given your tasks on the way. While we are waiting, I will tell you a few things about our planet. Earth is the third planet in the solar system away from the center, the Sun. The surface of the Earth is very diverse. Areas of land are alternated with large areas of water. Almost 3/4 of our planet is covered with water, while only a little bit more than 1/4 of the Earth's surface is land. You can see it with your own eyes if you look at the map of Earth.
Oh yes, there is much more water. Our planet should have been called Ocean rather than Earth. Isn't it amazing?
Yes, such a name would be more accurate. The distribution of land and water is related to the existence of continents and ocean trenches. All the oceans and seas of the Earth form the single world ocean. It is the majority of all the water that covers our planet, which is called the hydrosphere. The solid covering of Earth is called lithosphere, which is the land. Are my explanations clear enough, or do you need more details?
Sure, everything is clear now. All oceans and seas from the world ocean and all parts of land from the world continent.
I am so sorry. It's a bad shot, my dear Iron Friend. There is no such thing as the world continent, but there are 6 separate continents on our planet. However, there was a time when there really was only one continent on planet Earth.
Great! We can see it with our own eyes. What luck! I have the past to the past remaining from the last lesson. Hurry up, quick! Oh, I can hardly catch up with you. What are you going to do here without me? You will get lost. Hurry up.
Let us have a look at how Earth looked from space 300 million years ago. Can you see the difference? Instead of the continents that we are used to, we can see just one huge supercontinent, which is called Pangaea.
Let's have a closer look at Pangaea. It's huge. Wait for me.
Judging from the vegetation, we are in the Carboniferous period, which began 360 million years ago and lasted until 286 million years ago. It was at this time that the first reptiles, amphibians, and insects appeared on planet Earth. And here is the first task for you. Are you ready? You have to take photographs of the local fauna specimens for study.
Look, what a beautiful star is falling down. You'll have to make a wish before it's gone. Then it will come true. And there's another one. And another. Oh, so many things will come true. ice shower. Run for your lives quickly. I request emergency evacuation. Apparently, I saved everybody. Didn't I tell you you can't do it without me? Now you see it's true. And have you seen from space what a huge part of the world this Pangaea is?
Pangaea is not a part of the world. It is a continent. I will clearly explain the difference to you, so you'll understand. A continent is a very large portion of land surrounded by water. A part of the world can include both whole continents and their parts, together with neighboring islands. In total, there are 6 continents on our planet Earth today and 6 parts of world.
So why all this fuss if there are 6 of both? Do you want to confuse everybody?
Dividing the world into parts occurred during the Age of Discovery. Seafarers would travel afar and discover new lands, which at those times were called parts of world. The appearance of the continents is in no way relative to the people or their activities. It is the result of geological processes. Look, there are 2 parts of the world on the continent of Eurasia. They are Europe and Asia. On the other hand, the continents of North and South America are combined in one part of the world called America. Got it?
Now I understand. Let's visit the continent of contention so that we can see the difference between Europe and Asia with our own eyes. Let's go. Follow me.
It is unlikely that you will be able to see many differences between Europe and Asia. Division into parts of the world is purely a historical and cultural concept. However, the differences between continents can be seen more easily. My assistant, the Associate Professor of the General Earth Science Department, Mary Lanesbury, will tell you more about it.
Hello, everybody. Eurasia is the largest continent on Earth. It occupies over 1/3 of the Earth's landmass. Eurasia is also the only continent surrounded by all 4 oceans: the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Indian, and the Arctic.
I think that such a large continent must be the most populated one. Am I right?
Yes, you are absolutely right. Over 70% of the world's population live in Eurasia. The most densely populated areas are the eastern and southern parts of the continent.
And is there anything else that is special about Eurasia besides its size?
Yes, Eurasia beats some of the other records of our planet too. Eurasia's natural conditions are the most contrasting among the Earth's continents. Only in Eurasia can we find all the climatic zones, from the Arctic zone to the equatorial zone. Even a very brief story about the climate of Eurasia could take a few hours, so I will tell you the most interesting facts. Do you know where the coldest point of the Northern Hemisphere is situated? It is neither at the North Pole nor in icy Greenland. It is in Yakut village, Oymyakon.
Are you saying that it is colder there than at the North Pole?
Imagine such a place! In winter, the temperature in the Oymyakon area falls as low as -70 degrees Celsius, while in summer it rises up to more than 30. The yearly temperature difference is 100 degrees.
-70? I can't believe this. Can anybody really live there? I'd rather find a warmer place. -70? Whew.
Okay then. In the deserts of the Arabian Peninsula, the temperature in summer rises to over 50 degrees Celsius. Is that warm enough for you?
Oh, at last. Great. I can get some suntan. And are there any other exciting things in Eurasia?
You could write loads of books about Eurasia's various peculiarities. Here, one can find the highest mountain on Earth, Chomolungma, and the lowest point on Earth, which is the Dead Sea. And surely all of you know that. The height difference between these 2 extreme points is over 9 kilometers.
Let me give you some additional information. In Eurasia, there is also the deepest lake on Earth, Lake Baikal, and we will go there right now because we have an urgent task to do. Is everyone ready to do some work?
Ooh, Transforce Patrol is always ready. What do we do? Who is in need? Who needs help?
I will explain it. Russian bath escapes, Mir, were exploring Lake Baikal, but unfortunately, one bath escape ended up getting stuck at the bottom of the lake. Mir needs our help. We must save them.
Well, who is stuck here? Well, well, now let me see. Well, let us try and turn it this way. And now this way. No, it won't work. Too bad. I have to think about it. Eureka! It's as easy as ABC.
Good job. Very good. Now the researchers can get on with their work, and we can continue our journey. Mary, you have the floor.
Lake Baikal is the deepest lake on our planet and the largest natural reservoir of fresh water. The water in the lake is so transparent that some objects can be seen at a depth of 40 meters. There are so few impurities in the water of Baikal that it can be considered distilled.
There must be no inhabitants in this lake, only bathyscapes. That is why the water is so clean.
On the contrary, Baikal is well known all over the world for its unique flora and fauna. There are about 3,000 species of plants and animals inhabiting the lake, and 2/3 of them cannot be found anywhere else. This abundance of living organisms is explained by the high oxygen content throughout the whole body of the lake.
What an amazing lake! Wouldn't you just know it? Let's take pictures of it to remember this beauty. With me, of course.
It is a very interesting continent, isn't it? But that's not to say the other parts of Earth are any less amazing or exciting. The second largest continent on Earth is Africa. Let's head there now. And on the way, I suggest that we do some intellectual exercises and answer a few questions to warm up your brain.
If it had been me to answer questions, I would have done it better, but on the whole, it's not bad.
My friends, what do you think of when you hear the word Africa? I am sure that most of you will say deserts, and you will be absolutely right. Deserts occupy about 40% of this continent's area. So what else do you know about deserts?
Now we are flying above the Sahara Desert. It's the largest desert on Earth. And you know that the name Sahara is derived from the Russian word Sahar, i.e. sugar. It is because the sand in the desert is so white, like real sugar, isn't it?
Excuse me, Forsey, but I have to correct you there. The name Sahara is related neither to sugar nor to any other sweets. It is derived from an old Arabic word, as-Sahra, which means desert. As for the rest, you're absolutely right. The Sahara really is the largest desert on Earth. The area of the Sahara is 9 million square kilometers. That's bigger than Australia.
It's always extremely hot in deserts. The sand is so hot here that an egg will be boiled in just a few minutes. Just think of it. Ouch, it's hot.
Yes, be careful, Forsey. These are the hottest places on the planet. For example, in Libya, there are areas that reach 58 degrees Celsius and are recognized as the hottest points on the planet. And in Ethiopia, there are places where the average yearly temperature does not fall below 35 degrees.
And it's always hot, day and night, dark and light.
No, in the desert, it's only that hot during the day. At night, it's quite the opposite. The air temperature falls sharply below zero. These temperature differences give rise to very strong winds.
Great! Wind is a good thing when it's so hot, isn't it? One can cool down, at least a little.
That's right. But sand and dust give rise to sand and dust storms, which are not a pleasant thing. Dust storms occur even more often than sandstorms. The Sahara is probably the dustiest place on Earth. These storms look like fires from a distance, with smoke puffs rising high up in the sky.
And what does a dust storm look like? Does it look like that?
Attention! A dust storm is coming. We must find shelter immediately.
I will help you find the way. Listen to my instructions attentively. What would you do without me? I know almost all oases in Africa. There are thousands of them here.
There are not so many oases in the Sahara. What you saw must have been a mirage. During a year, one can observe hundreds of thousands of mirages in the Sahara. A mirage is a false image. It's caused by refraction of light passing through the air layers of different density.
Oh, what a shame that in Africa only sand and dust are real and everything else is an optical illusion.
It is not exactly like that. Africa is an amazing continent that one can explore for many years and still manage to find new things. But now Australia is waiting for us. There is an urgent task for the Research Patrol. And at the end, I suggest we admire one of the most beautiful natural phenomena, the sunset over the desert.
Look how beautiful it is here. Let's have our pictures taken to remember this beauty.
Australia is the smallest continent of Earth and also has the smallest population, except for Antarctica, which is not populated at all. Now, do you know any of the special things Australia has to offer?
They are kangaroos and aboriginals in the jungles that ate Captain James Cook.
Mary, can you add anything to this description of Australia?
Australia is really famous for its unique species of animals and plants that cannot be found anywhere else on Earth. That's because Australia was isolated from other continents for a very long time. Aboriginals do not eat anybody now, and they are in fact very peaceful. The jungles, however, like other natural zones, are very scarce in Australia. Most of the continent is deserts and desert plains. By the way, it is Australia, not Africa, which is the most drought-afflicted continent on Earth.
Well, we had enough deserts to see in Africa. They're all the same. Maybe we should fly to look at kangaroos?
Not all deserts are the same. For example, some Australian deserts are very similar to Mars. our colleagues from the research organization Martian Society are going to build a copy of the Martian station Mars Oz here. At this station, research will be carried out in order to prepare a manned expedition to Mars.
And is there anything else in Australia besides deserts?
Of course there is. The main natural resource of the continent is its mineral wealth. There are about 20 times more mineral resources in Australia than the world average. Large reserves of gold, non-ferrous metals, and iron ores have been found on the continent.
Australia does not seem to be the most exciting part of the world. There are only deserts and mines here.
I assure you, it's not like that at all. Australia also includes the Oceania Islands. Or, to be more exact, this part of the world is called Australia and Oceania. Now you will see for yourself just how interesting it is there.
Look how beautiful it is here. Let's have our pictures taken to remember this beauty. Don't forget me.
Oceania is the largest conglomeration of islands in the world. The majority of these islands are of volcanic origin. And here is a question for you. Do you know what the largest structure built by living creatures is?
Of course we do. These are Egyptian pyramids.
Egyptian pyramids are just pebble stones in comparison with the Great Barrier Reef. It is a ridge of reefs and islands that stretches for over 2,000 kilometers. And the reef was built by tiny organisms known as coral polyps. The reef is being constructed even now, although it is hard to notice. In a year, a corallite grows by only 5 centimeters.
Just think of it, how patient these polyps are. Oh, look, what a fish. Let's take pictures of them for the sake of science. There's more fish over there on the right. Click the shutter before they swim away. Yes, it is very beautiful here, but we have still not seen real jungles or aboriginals. What a shame.
You should look for jungles and aboriginals in South America. In the Amazon jungle, there are still places where man has never, ever set foot.
Then let us be discoverers. And how long does it take to fly there?
Not too long, and in the meantime, we can have our intellectual warm-up. So, who is the cleverest one here?
The results are even better than they were last time. Wait a little and you will be able to teach lessons yourselves.
South America perhaps beats all other continents with its number of natural records. It is here that you will find the longest river and the longest mountain range, the most drought-afflicted place, and the highest waterfall.
Of all things, I just don't know where to look first. I have to see everything. I wish I had more time. What landmarks are most important here?
If you look at the map of South America, you will immediately see a mountain range on the western side of the mainland. It is the longest mountain range on Earth and is called the Andes, or the Cordilleras of South America. By the way, the Cordilleras are in North America too. Together, they form the Cordilleras Mountain Belt. Its total length is over 18,000 kilometers. That's almost half the length of the equator.
A little wall, I should say.
Yes, you could call it that. The Andes are the largest climatic boundary of the continent. The Andes isolate the east of the mainland from the influence of the Pacific Ocean and the west from that of the Atlantic Ocean. That's why the climate on the western side of the mountain range differs so much from the climate on the eastern side.
Oh, what is this? Where does this shaking come from? Oh, it's an earthquake! Run for your lives, quickly, every man for himself! Whew, it was a narrow escape. A little bit more and I would not have been able to get you out of it.
I know what you mean. That's because the Andes are situated in one of the most seismically active areas of the world. That's why earthquakes and volcano eruptions occur so often here. And now we are at the mouth of the legendary Amazon River. It carries so much water into the Atlantic Ocean that the ocean water becomes desalinated for hundreds of kilometers from the river mouth. It is the longest and deepest river on Earth.
Yay, water! Let's go for a swim!
I would not recommend swimming or even walking here, and there are several reasons for that. First of all, you might simply be eaten by a crocodile.
There's something in there, and it's looking at me.
And secondly, it is here that the legendary piranhas live. The locals have a saying, "One big crocodile is better than 3 small piranhas." And do not forget the much talked about aboriginals. It is in the Amazon jungles where wild tribes live, and among them there really are man-eaters. But if you're not scared, we can try to get to know them.
And then we have to explain to them that it's not good to eat people and bring them some food. I think it is just that nobody could have made it to them. While on the transport ship, we will do it easily.
So now, how are we going to look for aboriginals in weather like this?
Well, The legendary tropical rainfall will scare anybody, even our brave 4C, but there are a lot of dangers all around. However, it is a very happy hunting ground for scientists. The Amazonian region is the largest lowland on Earth. Rivers are the only way to get around here. According to very rough estimates, there are over 1 million different species of plants and animals in the Amazon jungles. There are so many that several of them have not yet been found or even cataloged.
Let us discover and describe somebody. Look, there's some birds. Take pictures of them, quick.
The Amazon basin is rightfully called the green lungs of the earth due to its luxuriant vegetation. But Americas cannot boast of such good ecology everywhere. In North America, there are so many factories and large cities that it could never be referred to as the lungs of Earth. However, its cities are very modern and very exciting. Let us fly there on a sightseeing tour now. Now, we are in North America. Can you see the mountains in the west of the mainland? These are the Cordilleras of North America, a part of the Cordillera mountain range. This range provided a bridge between the two Americas. Thanks to this bridge, the flora and fauna of both continents are very much alike.
Flora and fauna are alike. There are the Cordilleras here and there. And on the map, they look almost the same. And what is the difference between two Americas?
Well, let's start with the climate. Most parts of North America are situated in the cold and moderate thermal zones, while South America lies mainly in the torrid zone. That's why the natural zones prevailing on the continents are different. The largest part of South America is occupied by equatorial forests and savanna, while that of North America is occupied by tundra and forests of the moderate zone.
So does this mean that in North America, one has to look for aboriginals in tundra rather than in jungles?
Compared to South America, there are relatively few untouched natural landscapes left in North America. Almost all of the mainland is occupied by highly developed countries with cities, commerce, and industrial production. That's why you have more chance of meeting a Native American somewhere in the neighboring street.
Now I understand where does the expression city jungles come from. Of course, it is very beautiful here, but it is much nicer to walk along the Amazon River.
Yes, environmental problems are at desperate levels in North America. The oxygen that is reproduced by the continent's own vegetation is not enough for the industry, transport, and people. Simply put, the continent breathes somebody else's air.
Is there really nothing left here except for cities and factories?
Actually, there are many nature reserves and utterly amazing places in America. These include the famous Grand Canyon, Niagara Falls, and many, many other places. Currently, there are 400 national parks and nature reserves in the USA alone, and we are now in one of them. Have a look around. What is this place? What do you think?
I know! It is the famous Monument Valley. And who built these monuments? Indians, perhaps?
Monument Valley is a really unique site. However, people had nothing to do with its creation. It is an exclusively natural phenomenon. The monuments are rocky formations, each with a unique and complicated shape, with heights of up to 30 meters. Some of the most distinctive rocks even have their own names. Only Indians live in this valley, although the conditions here are not the most comfortable.
What a pity it wasn't people who built it. But anyway, it's very beautiful. Let's have our pictures taken to remember this beauty.
I was hoping we would be able to visit some other nature reserves, but unfortunately, we have to leave immediately. There is an urgent task for the Research Patrol. We are expected in Antarctica. Antarctica is the only continent on Earth that does not belong to any particular country of the world. There is no indigenous population and only research scientists live here. I myself have spent several months as a member of a polar expedition. And now, could you please answer a very simple question? Who knows at what pole Antarctica is situated?
Judging from how much ice it is here, it's the North Pole. Is it this cold in the South? No, never.
Actually, it is a rather common mistake. The truth is, Antarctica is situated within the southern polar circle, although it's extremely cold at both poles of Earth. Does anyone know why it's like that?
I think it is perhaps because there is so much ice at the poles, it cools the air and it gets very, very cold here.
Excuse me, but I am going to have to correct you. Everything depends on the sun. The Earth's temperature depends on the incidental angle of sunbeams. Skew rays heat the Earth less than vertical ones. At the equator, the sunbeams fall almost vertically, while at the poles, they are gentle. That is why it is so much hotter at the equator, while at the poles, it is very, very cold. For example, at the southern pole, it sometimes freezes to approximately -90 degrees Celsius.
Is there really anybody here in this cold who needs our help?
Yes, we have to perform an extremely important mission. A convoy of ships was transporting a polar expedition and its cargo to Antarctica. Unfortunately, it encountered solid hummock ice in its path, so we must now help the convoy of ships to overcome this obstacle. Good job, my friends. Very good. The researchers thank you and invite you to pay them a visit.
No, thank you very much. They should come and visit us. It's surely warmer at our place. Hey, look, there are little red penguins.
The animal world of Antarctica is rather scarce compared to other continents. However, it is quite extraordinary. On the land, only moss and lichen can survive, while in near-shore waters, life is teeming. Thousands of seagulls, shearwaters, terns, and skua gulls build nests on the rocks. And one can often see whales in the sea. But the most numerous inhabitants of Antarctica are, of course, the penguins.
Let us take pictures of them. They are so funny. Oh, help me! Rescue me! Quick! Oh, what was it?
There now, you have seen with your own eyes how an iceberg is formed. Icebergs are a very sinister natural phenomenon. Let us now go underwater and take a look at it from there. 90% of an iceberg is actually underwater. That is why they are so dangerous for ships and vessels. Usually icebergs are not too big, but sometimes real giants can be found among them. The largest known iceberg was recorded in the middle of the last century. Its size was 97 by 335 kilometers. Can you imagine that? An iceberg the size of a country. It must have been very impressive and scary at the same time.
Hello. Yes, the lesson is a great success. Yes, we are coming back soon. Excuse me, Professor, but it is time for us to go back.
My friends, I am sure you have learned a lot of new things during this expedition. Let's find out how much you remember. A real researcher must know a great many things. Good for you. You are a real patrol researcher. On behalf of the Academy of Science, I invite you to take part in the next expedition. Thank you for your help. Goodbye for now and see you later on.
Thank you for your invitation, Professor. I have to say goodbye to everybody too, and I will be waiting for you at the next lesson. See you.